Hello everyone, this is going to be my quick review of, no, not really review, but first impression and shape overview of three mice. Starting off with the least interesting one, the Scyrox V8, where this is just a longer X2H mini, and really, it's actually quite comfortable for me. I find that this is a shape that works really well for my hands. And really build quality is great, no real side flex to talk off. Click quality, the click is actually a little light for me, which is a little disappointing, but I do like slightly heavier clicks that give me a more firm feedback. That's just me though, that's just my taste. In terms of the grip width and shape, is the X2H, and it's a shape that I really love, so I have no complaints. In terms of the scroll wheel and side buttons, they're also really elite, really well tuned. The coating feels a little on the thin side. I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels a little thin, a little smudgy, even though it's not super grippy. So that's something that they can improve on. And the worst part about this is going to be the stock skates, which were really scratchy, and that's definitely on the disappointing side. Sensor implementation so far for like my less than a week of owning this has been pretty flawless. And yeah, moving on to the next mouse, the Mad R. The Mad R also has really scratchy stock skates, so that's also disappointing. But otherwise, like when it comes to quality, this is definitely the most well built out of the three, which is surprising. But honestly, super impressed. The click is actually one of the best arm-on optical implementation I've felt so far. I've been really impressed with the clicks. The coating feels fantastic, very similar to Pulsar. Scroll wheel feels good, side buttons feels great, the weight feels amazing for a mouse like this, and the shape is like a thinner X2 mixed with the hump profile of a VXE R1, which really is quite similar to the X2 already. So this is essentially the thin X2 that I was looking for. So this is definitely a mouse that I'm very excited for and will continue testing. I've been wholly impressed with this, but I've only had this for about 2 hours. Sensor feels fine, but I've only played like one game, so I'm definitely gonna have to do further testing. But yeah, and then finally the V6. This mouse has the worst build quality out of the three. Very significant side flex when I just put in medium force. The clicks feels nice, quite bouncy, but there's also a little bit more travel than the other on-board optical implementation that I've tried. So that might not be for you. Everything else is very similar to the V8, but the coating on this is much better. It's that sort of dry, grippy coating that Pulsar white mice has or Logitech mice has, and it's a really enjoyable coating for me. And the actual stock skates are actually usable. They're not scratchy as hell, so that's a plus. I'm going and really like out of the three, I think that the V6 has the most interesting shape. The hump feels sort of similar to the GPX, which is nice. It does feel out the hand and feel quite bulbous, but I think the biggest downfall is just the way it curves in and the front flare. I feel like the front flare really inhibits my ring and pinky finger from getting a good seat on the mice, but that might just be me. I'm sort of forced into a very aggressive claw rather than the relaxed claw that I was expecting to use this with. You know, when I tried to go for a more relaxed claw to get the most out of this bulbous hump, I feel like my pinky and ring fingers just alienated, but I'm definitely going to save the deeper shape analysis with comparisons for the full review. I'm definitely going to be reviewing the V6 and the Mad R. Probably not going to review the V8. I'm just going to do like a quote-unquote deeper look, which is what I'm going to do for mice that I'm not as interested in reviewing, because they're just not interesting mice. And I think the V8 falls into that category where, yes, it's a cheaper, lighter X2, but X2H, but I think that doesn't quite beat the X2H mini. So I'm definitely going to be going more in depth on that on the deeper look, but I'm not going to be testing it as thoroughly as the other three. Now I'm going to do a quick skate noise comparison between the Magic Ice, which I've thrown on the V8, the V6 stock skates, and then the Mad R and V8 stock skates and how scratchy they are. Starting off with the Mad R, or the VXE, no, not VXE, the V8. Now onto the V6. Now onto Unusual Way Magic Ice. the Magic Ice is extremely smooth, while the other two is just kind of mid. Actually, no, the V6 is quite mid, and then the V8 and Mad R is just absolutely atrocious. Anyway, that's the first impression. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.